Hola, bienvenidos en la sesión de hoy. Hi there, welcome to another STAEDTLER art session with Riaan. In today's session, we will be painting a Spanish dancer using STAEDTLER's acrylic paints. Let's get dancing!
Let's get started with the drawing first. Here Riaan is using a scale divider to scale up the proportions from an A5 to an A4 page. Although the scale divider is a great help, you will still need to have a good understanding of the human anatomy. Basics of the usual anatomy structure, but keep in mind that we are viewing the dancer from below, which means we need to draw the lower part of the dancer slightly larger and smaller towards her head. Same for the environment. Riaan is drawing the background curved with a much more dynamic perspective. Using a 6B pencil, scratch the back of the drawing so that we can transfer it to a watercolor paper. Riaan is going to use a 300-gram paper, but you can also use a canvas or canvas board for your painting. When you trace your drawing, it is always best to use a ballpoint pen. This will help you press hard enough to transfer the drawing, as well as to show where you have already traced. Make sure you don't move your drawing. Lift one side of the drawing every now and then to see if you are pressing hard enough. Cases, it is better to finish the background first. Riaan is using yellow ochre, French ultramarine, black and white for the building in the background. We mix blue and black to make the blue a more dull color. This will make the red stand out more. Our technique will be mostly that of an impressionistic style, using rough brush strokes for the background. Mix a dirty green color for the walls and the ceiling using the yellow ochre and blue. It might look rather ugly at the moment, but dull colors make vibrant colors stand out better. Add a bit of warmth to the background using light yellow and red to mix an orange color. Then using a dry brush technique, we will lightly drag the brush over the surface so that very little of the paint rubs off on the paper. Dilute the orange with a bit of water and splatter some drops over your painting. There's no need to be delicate with it. Add as much or as little as you would prefer, but take precaution not to splatter your living space. Acrylic paints are difficult to remove. We start with the dancer's face first. Riaan is using an orange for the mid-tones and mostly blue-grays for the shaded side. The highlighted side has mostly light oranges and yellows. The strongest highlights will also mostly be yellow and white. figure is not the easiest task, but painting humans might be even more difficult if you are already struggling to draw people. If you want to paint people, then you need to draw humans a lot. Painting is just drawing with color. Riaan jumping from highlight colors to shadow colors. It is best to wipe the brush clean before you pick up the highlight colors. Think of painting the face as sculpting. Add highlights where you need it to stand out and darker shadow colors where you need to press the parts inward. Very dark, but Riaan is still adding a bit of blue and white to the black so that it is not too intense. The highlights on the hair are yellow with a bit of white. There is a very strong light from the left. This strong light will make her hair appear white where the light shines on it. We painted the yellow as a transition from the highlights to the dark parts of her hair. Using the tip of the brush, we paint all the loose strands that are illuminated. Press very lightly on the brush to keep these strokes as thin as possible. Colors are the same as the face. Think of the skin's base color as a peachy orange. The shades are brown with a bit of blue to cool it, and the highlights are mostly yellow with a bit of white. Something to keep in mind with the arms is that the dress is reflecting a red on the shaded parts. We need to take the shadow all the way down to the bottom of the arm, and we give it an orange color. The highlights on the top of the arm are going to be very light because of the strong light coming in from the left. Castanets are black with white as a highlight. Remember to draw the human figure as much as you can. Hands are notoriously difficult to draw and might even be more so to paint. time to paint her dress. We are going to use red as the base for the dress. Alizarin crimson will be used with black for the shades and yellow and red for the highlights. Where the light falls directly on the dress, we will use white to demonstrate the intense light coming in from the left. Here we are adding a bit of black to the alizarin crimson for the deep shades. Naughty Riaan forgot to fill that gap. Now is as good a time as any. In most cases, you never want to add white to red for the highlights on the red. Red highlights are usually orange and not pink. The crisp white highlights here will make the figure pop out from the background. The lower part of the dress follows the same painting techniques and colors. That you've enjoyed this session with us. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box below or send Riaan an email with your query. Happy painting!